I'm really annoyed at the moment, but
we've timed this session aptly then on annoying habits, haven't we? So what's rubbed you up the wrong way today?
What's rubbed me up the wrong way is the guy, because I live in digs during the week at the moment where I'm working. I just had a knock on the door a couple of minutes before this. We started to just go into the green room, and the guy goes, "Is that your car?" And I say, "Yes." He said, "You parked a bit close, haven't you?" I parked about that far away from his bumper because there was no space. However, behind him, there's 3 meters. He says, "I can't get out." I said, "Well, no, you just reverse, and then you can get out." He says, "No, I can't do that because later on, the guy will come in and he'll park up closer." I said, "Well, reverse now, not later on." And he said, "I need a can opener to get out of there." I said, "No, you don't need a can opener. You reverse." And he said, "You wouldn't like that if I parked so close." I said, "No, I'm not too bothered because I would reverse." So anyway, so that's why I'm just annoyed.
You could go on I could almost go on endlessly about people's motoring, like not indicating. The one that wound me up, was it yesterday? I was on the motorway. So Sunday drivers on the motorway, especially when you get to the 4-lane bits of the motorway and then sit in the 3rd lane, oblivious to the fact that there are now queues of traffic behind them because people can't use the other 2 lanes because they're just holding all the traffic up. And even when people pull out, go round them and go all the way back into the inside lane, they just sit there oblivious to what's up. Yeah, just.
Absolutely. So yes, we're talking about annoying habits and pet hates today. So that's mine. I just
say, I promise not to say anything annoying about the RAF tonight.
No, because there is nothing about it. Yes, well, you see, you can't say anything annoying because I might have close air support.
You might.
I might have close air support, I might bring him on at any time.
Well, you see, it is a Monday night though, so the RAF don't work Mondays, so we'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine.
I'm going to bring him in a minute. One before we do have some guests, and just before I carry on, feel free to say hello in the chat if you are listening. I know there are some people that are going to be listening a bit later on, but say hello in the chat and we'll jump on with you all. I have another annoying habit though. Not I have it. I get annoyed by this habit.
Oh, see.
In one of the offices where I work, there is somebody that feels that he must fart all the time in the office.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's not as if it's like a or anything like that. Yeah. It is a thunderous buttock wobbler.
Excellent.
And he thinks that by saying "oops," everybody forgives it.
Yeah.
And this is several times a day, every day.
Nice. That is charming.
Yeah, lovely. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing? Yeah. So, driving and approaching a roundabout, do you still indicate when you are the only car on the road? Well, it's a good habit. I do.
Yeah.
And my wife says, "What on earth are you doing? There's nobody here."
Yeah. That is also like the I could say that I don't or I do, but there's nobody there to prove it one way or another. It's a bit like if a tree falls in the middle of the forest and no one's there to hear it. Did it make a noise?
Yeah, absolutely. This is deep stuff.
And
then we've got last week's guest on. Look.
Oh no.
His greatest irritant. Trying to get him
a ticket. God, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? We had one, Simon. We had one very similar to that when we went to Spain earlier on this year. We all had to have COVID tickets or COVID passports, and everybody had put them in their cases. And we got to the passport control and they're saying COVID tickets, and so everyone was making a big queue at passport control because they were looking for their COVID passports. So yeah, I'm with you on that one, Simon.
It's not as if they put any big signs up when you go through an airport that you've got to take your belt off and you've got to have your mobile phone, and you've got to have your laptop out, and you've got to have your toothbrush or whatever it is and toothpaste in a bag. Not as if you had any warning of that for the 250 metres that you've been keeping up, is it?
That's it.
Not at all.
And there's me, coat over shoulder. Pockets are emptied into the coat pocket, so that when the coat goes in there, and then the belt is coming off, and ready to go. So shall we see what some other people think? Shall we bring in the close air support and Royal Signals?
Go on then.
And see what we've got. So close air support, Dan Marshall.
Oh, there we go. I was a forward air controller in my day. Carried around a thing that looked like an oversized biscuit tin, which was a laser target marker. It was bloody useless.
Ready 9 like.
Oh, there you go then.
So Dan and Zach, welcome. Now you two guys were very
vocal,
prolific last week with your comments, and you even had a little bit of side banter going in the chat. I noticed, and it was happening so quickly that I couldn't bring it on or off. So Dan, what's your pet hate?
Oh, I've got lots of pet hates. I suppose, obviously, Peter's expecting me to say something like, you can't get caviar or warm slippers in room service after 11 p.m. in a hotel. But clearly, not that. I mean, there's lots of things. I would echo your driving elements, middle-aged drivers, but I think it's the one that really gets my goat is people that park in the disabled bay or the kids' bay, and they clearly haven't got children, or they're, a disabled badge, and it's inappropriate, and they're just, flashy BM.
I would challenge you on that, Dan, because if I went with my mum shopping, are we allowed to park in the parent and child?
Oh, yeah, that's valid, but you're not like some,
I would say no.
BM just hanging around the spot, just being a bit lazy for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't let it slide with me, mate. No problem at all. But
it'll be oi man. So just because you're in a Challenger tank doesn't mean to say you can park there.
Yeah. I've got no children in there. Jog on, come on.
Yeah, that's not appropriate. Definitely not.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. 21-year-old in the car, that's valid because he's still
absolutely. Yeah, prove it. Yeah, absolutely.
And Zach is 21.
He is.
By the looks of it.
I'm first off, can
no, stop working.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to Morse code in a minute.
Yeah, it is. And who would have thought he was in the Royal Signals? just goes without saying. We're going to get some grief now. I can hear him rattling away on that.
Yeah. Looks like it's back to your
chat.
Well, we can't. No one else can see that, Zach. We can. We've got a private chat going on here, but you're. Right, has everybody noticed how? And Peter brought this up. How uniform Zach's bookshelf and box store is behind him. So.
Zach, if you're typing, could you turn your mic off? Oh, we're getting the rattling.
It works when you're typing.
It works perfectly then.
Yeah.
Right.
Who knows John Milton?
John Milton.
Come on, John. Put in the chat what your biggest annoyance is. I have one as well. My kids. I've got two daughters and a son, and my daughters are quite delicate type people, but they can slam the door. I'll tell you what, the house shakes as they slam the door. Just leave the house. No moods or anything. It's just
wear and tear. And running girls especially, hot water in the showers. Turn the hot water on and then leave it running and walk off and do something else for half an hour while the shower heats up. I just think, who the bloody hell's paying for all this? It's certainly not you two, is it? So it's. I can tell you, I if you get me started on my pet rant, we'll probably need another hour or so on this. So,
Go on. Well, we can cut you off. Go on,
so
tell us
you
what it is.
could do that as well. But you've had first-hand experience, Matt, of my pet hate of people starting sentences with "so." You ask somebody a question and they say, for example, Dan, what service were you in? Dan replies, so. Yeah. Can I just, English is a method of communication and needs to be accurate and efficient. People get bollocked for getting maths wrong, accountancy, all that sort of thing. You go down to the decimal point. English, people just, it doesn't matter. But the whole meaning of things, depending how you use the language, changes. So that, and I'm even doing it myself now. But using the word "so" to respond or start a statement is completely unnecessary. The other ones that you see, and you hear it in the media, on the BBC and things, in the papers, etc., are the phrases "speaking with." You don't speak with somebody; you speak to somebody. That's one of them. The other one is
I'm gonna write all these down.
Met, and then you'll hear the other one that is prolific now. I met with Zach. You don't need the word "with." I met Zach. And it's just surplus to requirements. It's meant to be an efficient way of communicating. And we've all had the Supremes and reaching out. Why don't you just contact them or email them? That's just unnecessary American isms. Me personally, how can it be you personally? Personally belongs to me. You can't it just, one of my other ones that I have speaking to, sat here does not exist. I sat here yesterday. I am sitting here now. And if anybody says to me again, I am going to send you an invite, you don't. You're sending me an invitation to invite me to the party. There we are,
Right.
Rant over.
Right, I was going to say, so we're all learning here. We're all taking notes of what we're not supposed to do because we all do it. Zach's just rewriting his CV with all the correct.
Oh yes, and another one that I heard the other day: most critical. No, it's either critical or isn't. You can't have degrees of criticality. It's bollocks, isn't it?
Here's my benevolent friend Richard Wade saying hello. Look, hey, Jen Dick top. So yes, and the use of Zach's language in the private chat here is very colourful.
Good.
Google search. I'll not read that out. I'm learning new words every time. So yes, so slamming the door, exaggerating. I tell you, I've told you a million times not to exaggerate. People exaggerate all the time, and that really gets my goat as well.
Yes.
Saying I've been waiting for hours for this. Well, actually, no, you haven't. It's been about 5 minutes.
Yes, indeed. Or the one that I'm trying to beat out of my daughters at the moment. Me and Neve are going to the pub. No, Neve and I are going to the pub. Simple way to work it out. If you take Neve out of the question or out of the statement, would you say me is going to the pub? No.
You wouldn't say I is going to the pub either, though.
No, I am going to the pub.
Okay, yeah. But you wouldn't say Neve and I am going to the pub.
No, Neve and I are going to the pub.
Yeah, but then you won't say I are going to the pub if you took
No, you don't. But you just. But it's the fact that you're using me, which is not the right preposition. Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Justin.
I'm going to say the worst thing I think you put on Peter there is if we start pluralising supermarket chains. People that go, Asda's, we're off to Asda's or Tesco's.
Asda's, yeah. And I'm never really sure. Is it Sains? I've never really looked actually. Is it Sainsbury's with an S on the end? It is. So that is plural then.
You're not going to
Yeah,
Sainsbury's.
Asda's, yeah.
Now, Justin, we've got Zach's asked in the private chat. He's got a problem. He can't get his microphone to work properly, and he's technically challenged. And he says Justin Mitchell is the man to fix it. So, Justin, there you go. You don't know what his symptoms are, but you're expected to fix his microphone problem.
Have you tried?
We've got Debbie. Hello, Debbie. I was speaking to Debbie earlier on. She's a lovely lass. You've been to Tenerife. I've been to Tenerife.
11 Reef, yeah.
She's been Tenerife twice. Now, you told me earlier on, Debbie, that you've got a brilliant pet hate, and it's something to do with men.
Let's not bring her on. We've not got enough time.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a special session.
That's a 3-hour special.
Yeah.
And here we have Dan. Dan is my Veterans Voice guest on Wednesday. So brilliant. What's your pet hate, Dan? There you go. That's the answer.
I've tried that. That doesn't work.
Tried that, didn't.
Never mind.
All right, here we go. Then it's socks. Very straightforward.
Yeah.
Socks all over the floor, not in the wash basket or something like that. If it's my son's anything to go by, anywhere but the wash basket, and he has a floor-drobe in his room.
Plates in the sink when the dishwasher's open and empty, ready to go. Just literally put it in there. But they put it in there.
How about not stacking the dishwasher properly? So you go and put the stuff in a certain way that you can only get 4 plates in, or something. Right, where if you actually put them in a symmetrical and systematic order into it, you could probably get 4 meals, 3 or 4 meals, 4 people in the dishwasher.
Absolutely, I'm a regular restacker.
And not rinsing before you put it in the dishwasher.
Well,
I feel like that might be for me. That one.
I think we've lost Peter. Peter's frozen.
I'm still here. I'm good. There's just problems with the sound there.
It's a lot of that going around.
No, I think you've got some sort of noise cancelling on your speakers. So what's Debbie's others? Yeah, wardrobe. Yeah. I do feel for you, Zach. I've had problems like that before. Yeah, and it's nasty because we're leaving you on air to try and fix it in front of
everybody,
the masses, rather than putting you out of the room and giving you the peace and quiet to fix it in your own pace. Now you're front and centre.
Come on, Dan. You must have some more things that wind you up.
Well, there's plenty out there, isn't there? I mean, as I put in chat, texting in caps, it's getting a bit old, but people still do it. Usually when they don't know about technology, but
yeah.
We're trying to get the point across.
Yeah.
Shouty text messages, yeah.
And then, of course, there's the when people are on their Zoom calls these days and all that kind of jazz, and they are just watching in the background, but carry on typing or doing that. The
dog's barking on the phone. On a Zoom call. Business meeting.
As if it was designed, but yeah, I've got an annoying dog that does that every time anybody comes near the house. So yeah, know the feeling.
Well, that actually might be quite useful one day.
Well, yeah, certainly better than back in lockdown when the children were still around and were, you try to do a professional kind of chit chat and they'll come and ask for the toilet right and you're interviewing a client or something like that and getting that BBC moment yourself. So yeah, only so much you can do.
Yeah. So Justin's got one. People that don't put their trolleys back and leave them in the supermarket car park spaces. Yeah, has anybody actually pulled into a car park space between two cars and actually hit a trolley that somebody's left there because it's been between two cars and you haven't seen it?
How fast do you
Well,
drive these spaces? Handbraking them in?
Yeah. Or where they leave them just in the car park and there's a strong wind like there is tonight, and you just have sort of marauding trolleys drifting aimlessly across the car park until they collide with a car or some curb or something. The other one in car parks as well is drivers of 4x4s who decide that that obviously they are far more important than anybody else, that will park diagonally across two parking spaces, therefore not allow anybody else to park. So not that hate of mine.
If it was a chargeable car park, I should charge them double.
Yes, yeah. There's actually, I think it's Humvee are about to launch in this country their first electric 4x4 that is so wide that you may need to have an HGV license to drive it because it's so big.
Well, that's sort of not that sensible, really, is it?
Not really.
It's
Not
probably
really.
made for the American freeways or the outback or something like that.
Yeah.
But for little old Blighty, no.
Absolutely, with our little country lanes and things.
Yeah,
It's,
Maybe just leave the US.
I've never warmed to them.
Caravans. I'm not a big fan of caravans either.
That's a whole
I think-
episode. That's a whole episode. Isn't it?
So it's all right. It is, isn't it? I just think that, and maybe we'd say that I could say it started with 10. I think caravans, if they want to move from site to site, should do it in the small hours. So they should only be allowed on the road between maybe 1 and 5, and then they've got to shut down. Then they're not allowed on the road, and if you're on, you just have to pay a massive fine for slowing.
And why do they call them things like Buccaneer and Hurricane and things like that? Is it they're lacking? They're making up for something.
It is. And then when you
big box Buccaneer,
and when you see people, not that I visit caravan sites, but when you see people and you're out for walks and things, you go past the caravan site, and they're all sort of steaming up and the damp and everything. Just doesn't do it for me.
Deb's got a good one there. How I thought we had a mouse in the house once, and my son had been playing football and taken his shoes off and walked across the house with his socks on, and they looked like mouse droppings, these little AstroTurf thingies. And I thought we had a mouse, but it wasn't. It was what Debbie said, the black bits from AstroTurf get everywhere. Yeah,
So basically, anything to do with children is annoying. Really, that's what we're saying. You know.
We could really.
So yeah, it's constant havoc here. So yeah.
What about and we could probably lose what few listeners we have. We could really wind them up by saying, what are inappropriate children's names?
Oh
yeah.
Well, any car manufacturer, probably a good one.
Yeah, that's one. When you have named after wines. So
Game of Thrones characters with the fake names.
Yeah, jewelers. So I like Tiffany
and Ratner.
Yeah, right.
Okay, right. Here's one for you. I'm going to put it in the ticker tape. Now, this is a child's name, and one of our friends knew of this child, and this is an actual child's name. What is that name?
Go on. Surprises.
It's Tadasha.
No, it's not.
You pronounce the dash in the middle.
You are joking.
No, it's Tadasha. There we go.
My wife, a few years ago, my wife was in hospital visiting somebody, and she was talking to people in the outside, and they said, she could overhear them said, "Oh yes, I was reading this fantastic book, and it was so moving that I've called my first son after the lead character in it." And my wife said, yeah, oh, what have you called your son then? And they said, oh, we've called him Guy, spelt Guy. Guy.
Gordon Gooey. What are parents thinking? I blame the parents.
Yeah, shocking. It's the move of American type names as well into Britain, like Tyler and Sky, and Skylar is one that I've heard recently, which the only first time I heard it was on Breaking Bad. What has your child done to deserve this?
Well, Zach, nobody who's watching can say what Zach's put in being Ginger and being called Zach.
Yeah.
Which I actually don't think that's that bad. And I can't tell you Ginger from here.
And it's Zach.
He is.
Oh, because you know him, don't you?
I do, yeah. And even if he wasn't.
What?
So, Dan, have you got your fen? What's its name? Fen's name sorted yet?
I get it this week. I get my super ultra broadband, but no, I've got a better computer this week.
I think we're getting an echo there from. So you get it this week. So next time we're going to get crisp. We've got crisp Dan now, and then it'll be up to the next level.
Yeah,
next time we get you on. We're coming to the end here. Today was pet hates and annoying habits. So, anybody else got any more before we close the door on today's banter?
I'm just intrigued to understand what Debbie finds so irritating about socks. I actually find them quite useful.
I think maybe you may need to clarify this, Debbie. But I was thinking it's the fact that they're left all over the place and being men's socks you're referring to, they're probably being used 3 or 4 times. Has anybody read Jeremy Clarkson's autobiography?
No.
No, right. No.
I've got things to do with my time.
He talks about the when he's away on trips, he can get 4 days wear out of underpants because you wear them the right way around, the back way around, inside out the right way around, inside out the back way around. So I think that's probably in Debbie's sort of subject of socks.
That's quite a well worn army custom.
Being or not.
Yeah.
Peel them off. So, John, people who put their bags on empty seats.
Yeah.
And avoid eye contact. That's an interesting one because that's a typical London commuter thing. You know, your bag on the seat next to you, avoiding eye contact. I spent about 18 months I lived in working, commuting into the centre of London, and you'd see the same people every day, and you'd smile at them, and then they just look away. And you cannot engage with people on the train in conversation on a commuting train. But yes,
not this for you, not very friendly.
Here she is, Lara Croft. 100% wool is totally acceptable. Yes. What socks? Kath is going on an expedition to Patagonia. I don't know when is it, Kath? But you'll have to sort your annoying habits out. Not that you've got any, but between you and your travelling companion, make sure you know each other's annoying habits before you go.
If Kath wants recommendation for socks, just Google British Army extreme cold weather socks, white fluffy ones issued for the fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Zach's going to demonstrate there now. He's got some. No, that's where he was going. Here's some I bought earlier or nicked earlier.
Yeah. Standard issue. Yeah. We still can't hear you.
I can
We're going to have to get Dan back, Zach back on one day because we don't know what he sounds like.
Yeah.
It's not that worth it.
There you go. We got it. Yeah. Right, everybody. Well, I think we'll call a close on the proceedings tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. Dan, what are you doing? You're in two places at once.
Yeah, Southerners just generally aren't very hospitable. The further north you get, they're definitely much more hospitable and friendly and engaging.
Well, up north they're hospitable, not hospitable.
Oh, that's another one. It is the letter H, not the letter H. That's H.
Right. So,
Yeah.
time. We must move on. Right. So, thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Dan and Zach, for joining us. We will hear what Zach sounds like. Well, the next time you have to bring those cards so that we know what you're saying. Do it in advance. And thank you, everyone, for piling in that joined us. And we'll see you next time. Now, one thing, if there's anybody listening, next week is Ladies' Night, isn't it, Peter?
It is.
So we're gonna invite some of our, because it's not just white middle-aged blokes talking nonsense. We need to get some ladies talking nonsense in as well. So we're going to ask a couple if you'd like to come on as a guest and talk about a particular subject, which we'll decide a bit later on. Then fire us a note, and we'll see if we can get you on for next week. So next week is Ladies' Night. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week.
See you soon. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
The dog.